welcome back to my channel. Becky here for the birth year book tag. I saw this on Robin Reed's channel and I was like, hey, it's my birthday in a week, so I am totally doing this tag. I wanted to share the one gift I've gotten this year so far. My friend is actually traveling out of town on my birthday next week. Well, when you see this, it hopefully is releasing on my birthday. Hopefully I can get this edited and out on time. But she bought me a gift that included a caramel apple. So that was like an edible, perishable product. So she brought me that, and then she got me this mug. I would fight a bear for you, bestie. Not a grizzly, or a brown bear, or a panda, but maybe like a Care Bear. I'd fight one of those son of bitches for you. And then there's like a, oh, it's really full, my coffee. It's like a me and her kind of thing. So, and it's this cute, I'm good. This cute like pink. She got me this and a Christmas ornament. It's just like purple and shiny, and friends are the family that we choose. So very sweet. I love it. I have so many mugs. It's ridiculous. I was looking at Chapters online for this month. I get like 20% off because it's my birthday month. And I get 20% off like one purchase. And so I've been looking at their stuff, and today is Thursday, tomorrow's. So happy Thanksgiving to any Americans watching this, even though it's a week after Thanksgiving now. In Canada, our Thanksgiving was back in October. But happy Thanksgiving. Tomorrow's Black Friday. So I was looking at some of the sales, and there's like 10 mugs on there that I want to like buy right now. And I have so many mugs that I love and I adore and are adorable. So I'm like, Becky, you don't need any more mugs. You even got one for your birthday, so just relax. Anyways, let's jump into this birth year book tag. I am not going to tell you what year I was born. I have mentioned before how old I am. It's not that hard to figure it out. But from these questions, let me know what year you think I was born. Or you just, Google what time, when this movie came out or whatever, or this book. So let's jump in. Have you read any books published in the year you were born? No. I went on Goodreads and looked at books published, or the most popular books published that year, and I couldn't find any. And then I went on books I've read that I've marked on Goodreads. I haven't been using Goodreads much. I've been using Storygraph the past 2 years now, or like since 2020, halfway through 2020 maybe. And I never used Goodreads a lot prior to like 2019 either. So going through a list of books that were published that year and going through my books and seeing what were published that year, I have not read any from that year. But it says, if you haven't read any birth year books, which one do you pledge to read in the next 6 months? And why have you chosen it? So I noticed that Misery by Stephen King came out that year, and that is a play me and my husband went and saw this year, which was really good. And that's my only experience with Misery, is that play. I haven't seen the movie or read the book, and I own the book. It sounded like a good story. I'm not like this giant Stephen King fan reading all his books, but that one I grabbed because it sounded good. I bought that one last year, and I have not read it yet, so I'm going to read that one. And also Beloved by Toni Morrison. I think I have that book. I want to say I have that book. Those two. I know I have a Toni Morrison. Why am I not seeing it here? I do. It's behind my sign. So, Beloved by Toni Morrison and Misery by Stephen King. And why? Because those sound like good books, and because I actually physically own them. So they are on my physical TBR. Although I can't find Misery either. It should be upstairs, but I can never find it. Anyways, have you read any books published in the year you turned 18? If so, what's your favorite and why? So again, I went on Goodreads, looked at the year I turned 18 and saw what books I had read. And there are 3 books that I have read, all within the last all within the last 5 years. One of them this year, and one of them in the last 2 years, I think. So none of them I read the year they came out, when I turned 18. But I've read all of them, and that's The Undomestic Goddess by Sophie Kinsella. That's on my bookshelf right there. Faithless by Karen Slaughter, which is in that's down there, Grant County series. And Breath of Snow and Ashes, which is part of the Outlander series. So which one's my favorite? I don't know. I enjoyed all of them. All good reads, all very different reads for sure. I've only ever read from the Grant County series by Karen Slaughter, and I really enjoy those. So I would definitely recommend that. She can be pretty graphic though, like with violence and stuff, but if you know Karen Slaughter, you know. And I am rereading Outlander this year. I'm on like book 3. It's like the slowest reread ever, and I'm listening to them mostly as audiobooks, but I haven't got back to Breath of Snow and Ashes. I can't tell you what happens in the first book versus the 8th book. I can't keep up with it. Bought my baby a ball pit, and he just crawls out of it. It doesn't contain him in there. Yeah, Outlander all just blends together for me, but I enjoy the series. Of the last 10 books you read, how many were published before you were born? What were they, and did you prefer them to the newer books? So I am currently, right now, reading The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, so the Narnia series, that I'm planning on reading all of those before the end of this year. And those were all published before I was born. Love that series. I just read in October, just before Halloween, I read Psycho. I can't remember the name of the author, but it's that famous movie, Psycho, is based off the book. And that one wasn't bad, but I got the twist, like, so fast in it. And I think, like, back then, when it was written, like, 1956, I think, which was before I was born. How many years? I'm not telling you. I think it would have been a really good twist at that time. Now, it was still good. I was looking for that book earlier. I have too many bookshelves. It would have been a really good read had I never read a book like that before. And I can't think of any books I've read that were quite like that, but I knew the twist without having ever watched or read anything based off of Psycho or anything, watched the movie, nothing like that. I imagine it was like groundbreaking at the time. I mean, Alfred Hitchcock thought it was good enough to make a whole movie out of it. So, and then I just read Animal Farm again in September for Buzzword for animals, or was that October's Buzzword? Anyways, so I read Animal Farm, and that one also came out before I was born. That's a good one too. It's very political and stuff. I don't like political reads or anything like that, but I mean, we read this in school, so it wasn't too complicated either. And it was an interesting commentary, especially like as you get older and you understand a little bit more. Like, you're reading this in high school, and some people are more politically inclined maybe, and not that high school students aren't smart or anything like that, but it's not always things you're considering. It's not what's important to you at that time. Now, as an older person, Animal Farm just had more commentary that I could, like, understand and have discourse about, I guess. Do I prefer them to newer books? They're different. Like, you can tell they're an older book just by the way they're written, but I don't know if I prefer older books to newer books necessarily. And those are all, like, classics too, so people like them, right? Like, they're around, they're classics for a reason. What's your favorite movie from your birth year and why? So I went on IMDb and was looking at movies that were released in that year, and I couldn't really find like a favorite movie from that year. One of my favorite movies came out the year before that, but two movies that came out the year I was born were The Princess Bride, which I know that has a huge cult following. You either love it or hate it. I'm kind of in the middle. I don't hate that movie, but I watched it in school, actually. I want to rewatch it really bad. Everyone talks about like how amazing it is, and I'm like, I need to rewatch this movie so bad. And also Harry and the Hendersons came out that year, and I remember that movie, and I don't know, it's just a goofy movie that they find, like, the Hendersons find Bigfoot, and they're like keeping him in their house or whatever, like hiding him away. Anyways, the final question: what's your favorite movie from the year you turned 18 and why? The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, the new version, came out the year I turned 18, so I thought it was kind of funny because I'm reading the book now. I really liked the first Narnia, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe movie. Prince Caspian was okay, and I like the Voyage of the Dawn Treader movie. The Narnia one, they just did a really good job with it, and I actually saw it in theaters when it came out, and I don't know, it's so magical and beautiful. Other movies that came out the year I was born are Wedding Crashers. Me and my husband still quote that movie. Just Friends with Ryan Reynolds, and I can't remember her name. That's one of my favorite Christmas movies. Hitch came out. That's another good one. I think we still quote that one too, me and my husband. My husband and I started dating when I was like 19 and a half-ish. We knew each other when I was 18, but I was in BC. He was in Edmonton. We were just kind of like acquaintances, like friends, but not really close or anything. But we've since seen these movies together. The Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants is one of my favorite books and movies, and there was a scene in the movie that just really hit home for me, and I was sitting in the movie theater. I think I went to this movie by myself, and I was just like bawling my eyes out. It just hit so hard. So definitely it's a favorite movie of mine from that age. I still enjoy it now to this day. Obviously it might not hold the same appeal, but just the nostalgic factor and the fact that it hit the feelings so hard in that. And that's the first Sisterhood one. And then The Jacket, have you seen that? That was a crazy movie. And Fun with Dick and Jane with Jim Carrey. Always a good time with Jim Carrey. So that is the birth year book tag. I will post Robin Reads' video down below as well, so you can go watch that. Guess what year she was born, guess what year I was born. Comment a little like cake or party emoji down below if you've watched this far, because it's my birthday today, so let's celebrate with some emojis, I guess. And let me know if you've read a book in the year you were born or a book in the year you turned 18. I have read books published this year that I am turning this age. Let me know how old you think I am, and I will see you next time. Bye!